Hi, thanks for joining the Discover Your Life Today YouTube channel. My name is Maveen Kaura. I'm going to be going over the book Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor Frankl. I came upon this book kind of not by accident. It was actually I was told to read this book by a manager of mine who was training me when I was working in car sales. We were just having a good open conversation, and he kind of mentioned to me, why don't you read this book? So I went out and purchased the book, and all 100 and about 60 pages of this book are just absolutely amazing. I'm not sure if you've ever seen the movie Life is Beautiful. Before I read this book, I knew a little bit about Viktor Frankl and what he had gone through, and my mind had pictured what he had gone through being similar to something like that movie. I assume Victor's experience would probably be similar to what was portrayed in that movie, and I would say somewhat maybe it was true, but there's a lot in this book. There's a lot in this book. We have to really use our own imaginations and really understand what the people in the Nazi war camps were put through and had gone through and lived through or even died through. You can picture more than the pain, the hurt. You can picture the suffering. You can picture the death, the destruction, and unhappiness. But in a weird way, you can actually also picture the happiness some of the people in these camps were feeling as well. It's really odd, but it's really true. So what I wanted to do was really go over 25 lessons I learned in this book. They're some of the most amazing ways to think, I believe. This book is definitely one of the most amazing reads I have ever had the pleasure of doing. I'm glad I picked up this book when it was recommended to me. A lot of times I may not pick up the books that people recommend to me, just I may not want to read it. Don't think it's going to add an additional value to me, but I'm really happy I did spend some time picking up this book. As I read this book, I wrote some of these impactful thoughts that came to me. I believe these would help anybody and understand the horrific events of these Nazi camps, and will also help you understand what maybe the mindset of some of the people were during this time. 25 lessons I learned. Understand this, or not, but we are all on a quest to find out life's purpose. You can lose everything in this life, but you can choose how you react. This is also something the Dali Lama has also said. Number 3, men can create unthinkable situations to put each other in. Situations none of us would ever want to experience. Yet, there were brave men enough to walk through these experiences and face certain death. Number 4, in life, you and I will face tough decisions. In these moments, we develop our character, a backbone, and understand what we will stand for. Number 5, to gain real understanding, you must first detach yourself from all your own experiences. That's an important one. I want to read that one to you again. To gain real understanding, we must first detach ourselves from our own experiences. Number 6, learn to experience just being. Do not react to everything that happens to you. Number 7, remember, if you see enough pain and suffering in your life, you become desensitized to it. Once desensitized, you walk around in a daze of existence. This is also what the news does to us. You hear something over and over again, you get desensitized, you stop caring. Number 8, the heart and the mind of a man is resilient. Humans, by nature, have an ability to want to survive, even when others are dying around us. Number 9, in the camps, human contact, even punishment, was wanted when it was not given, because all they wanted was human contact. If you don't have human contact, your soul begins to die. Number 10, even the most terrible people who hurt, kill, or cause pain can look out for you and show you some mercy and kindness. Number 11, to love everyone unconditionally is the goal we must have before we pass away. Number 12, in isolation, you can create relationships with people you love, who are dead or alive. These conversations can help you carry on. This is how POWs live in this box, and they get through this because they talk to people. They continue to gain the strength to want to live. Number 13, after being in terrible conditions for so long, your mind begins to look in the beauty of everything around you. He goes to a story where Viktor talks about walking to a concentration camp site, a site where they had to lay railroad from the concentration camp. They have to walk to it. And during this walk, they go through a forest. And that's what he's saying. During this forest, he started noticing all the beauty around him, not just the death and the desolation that was taking place. Number 14, laugh and have a sense of humor. It will help you change the way you look at life. Life is about looking at the bright side, even though you're surrounded by negative. A photograph tells a story of many different perspectives. Don't just look at the photo from your perspective. Try to put yourself in the different places or different people's shoes. See it in the photo and look at the photo from a different perspective. Number 17, every decision you and I make or don't make takes us towards a new fate, life, journey, and or outcome. Number 18, in suffering, one can find all of the lessons of life. If you can learn from distress, you can become spiritually and consciously free. Nature is a good teacher if we can take a few moments and listen to what it says. These are all the things he's saying from being in a concentration camp that he's written in this book. That's his search for meaning in what was taking place and why he survived and when he survived. Number 20, we must practice compassion for others while we search for meaning in our lives. Number 21, did you know the smallest gesture of compassion from your enemy can change your outlook, even just for a few moments? If you ask most people, they will tell you making more money is second when it comes to searching for the meaning of their life. People would rather have more money than really find out what they're going to do with it and how they can help people with that money. Number 23, how do you see suffering? Is suffering your teacher, or is suffering what you must overcome at any cost? Number 24, find meaning for your life gives you a clear reason to carry on, even when you are faced with hard times. Of course, in a concentration camp, you had to find meaning because everybody around Viktor was dying or losing faith. Number 25, if one does not have a will to live, he or she will. If they find any significance, they can continue to live. Now, these are things that Viktor said he learned while he was enduring the pain of being in a Nazi concentration camp and seeing the things he did and experiencing the things he did and this emotional roller coaster that he had been on, this cruel and unimaginable things that were taking place. The systematic breakdown of somebody's will to live and want to live. As I read about him and his experience, and I've looked at these 25 things that I really learned, it really gave me perspective on what I find hard and what type of things I find pain in and suffering in. Because what I believe he went through and others just like him had gone through was probably a lot more pain than we would probably experience in our lifetimes for the majority of us. Reading this book makes me wonder what it would be like to be in a concentration camp. Could I even go through something like this type of experience and come out the other side with his type of experience and his process? It's unimaginable what he went through So, I recommend really picking up this book. This is actually one of the most influential books that I've ever read. I recommend it to you if you haven't read it. You can go over to discoveryourlifetoday.com. Just type in the search engine or search bar there, man's search for meaning. You'll come up with this, and you can read all 25 of these lessons for yourself and really focus on each one of them to understand them. If you like this video, please like it. Please subscribe to the YouTube channel for discoveryourlifetoday.com. Other than that, I hope you go out and have yourself a wonderful day.